My name is Mulumba Musumbu Mukundi. I'm from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, where I serve as the General Secretary of the Presbyterian Church, as well as teaching at a Presbyterian university. When I got a word of invitation to come to this conference, I felt really challenged because many people in DRC, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, in general, and especially in our church, the Presbyterian Church of the Congo, don't have courage to talk openly or discuss about witchcraft phenomenon. I felt that this is a good opportunity for me to learn from many different people, from many different perspectives on this important subject. That's the reason why I want to express my gratitude to Dr. Priest, who organized this conference and who sent a letter of invitation to me. I want to express my gratitude to Reverend Hunter Farrell and Frank Dimmock, as well as Reverend Debbie Braxma, for recommending me to come and share about what's going on in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. One of the biggest problems we are facing in the Congo is the fear of witchcraft. It is a daily problem and affects the Congolese entire culture and worldview. For example, from childhood, one is taught about the effects of witchcraft so that when the child grows up, his or her thinking has already been affected, because witchcraft affects human relations on every level. For example, when someone goes, also when something goes wrong, when someone is sick, or someone fails in his or her business. In the Congo, the question people will ask is not what happened, but the question will be, who did it? Because according to Congolese worldview, we always think in terms of there is someone within the same clan or the same family who did it. The title of my sharing this morning is The Church Faced with the Cold Child Witch. We had a conference in the Congo last year. Many people came to that conference. We discussed about the accusations of children and so on. And many people were very excited, and they wanted to do something to change the situation, because it's a true situation. To understand the content of what has been asked me to do this morning to this existential subject, I will divide it into 3 parts, 3 chapters. Chapter 1 will deal with the definition of what is witchcraft in general, as well as in the Congolese context. Chapter 2 will examine who is a child called witch and how does he or how does she look like. And the chapter 3 will deal with the church's response to this existential subject. Let's start with chapter 1 about the general definition. Witchcraft is a manifestation of Satan's power in the world. It is not easy to explain everything about witchcraft, and it is not possible to deny the existence of witchcraft as a manifestation of the devil's power, because wherever God is active in action, wherever God is active in power, Satan is also at work. In his book, African Religions and Philosophy, John Mbiti, an African theologian and author, describes the African beliefs in mystical power. He says, "To my knowledge, there is no African society which doesn't have or hold belief in mystical power of one type or another. The manifestation of this power are extremely varied. Everyone is directly or indirectly affected, for better or for worse, by beliefs and activities connected with this power." John Mbiti is not alone. Other anthropologists and sociologists have written on the same subject. For example, Apostance says that hidden knowledge has existed in all societies. In all societies, much of this special information lies in the subsystem of activity and belief related to the supernatural. It is commonly divided by anthropologists into three categories: religion, magic, and witchcraft. Each subdivision has open as well as hidden aspect. And another anthropologist, Evans Pritchard, provides us with the following definition. He says, "A witch is a person whose body contains or is declared by oracles and divines to contain witchcraft substance, and who is supposed to practice witchcraft." He goes on and says that witchcraft is a supposed psychic emanation from witchcraft substance, which is believed to cause injury to health and property. And Lucy Mayer, another anthropologist, perceived witchcraft to be psychic act, stating that the witch produces an evil affect through the will, not tools. Evans Pritchard also refers to its action as psychic and tells us that the Azanda witch may actually be ignorant of having that status. Even John Mbiti allows for evil without intent. This negative view of witchcraft doesn't take into account the whole concept of what we call, in our context, witchcraft. People in the Democratic Republic of the Congo in general, especially the Lua people, distinguish between evil or night witchcraft and good or day witchcraft. The evil night or night witchcraft is given to the popular people by other people in order to cause evil events, such as accidents, sickness, and death. On the other hand, the night witches are mysterious in their procedure, and so they are infinitely more terrifying. They are believed to share powers to ride invisibly through the air. They can cause disease, embarrassment, and unpredictable field among other calamities, and are particularly feared because no one knows how they operate. However, good witchcraft, or day witchcraft, is given to the chiefs or to the oldest people of the family by the oldest of the village in order to protect the people who are under their authority. The good witchcraft recognizes or identifies an evil witch, but cannot participate in bad witches' night activities. In the Congolese society, good witchcraft is beneficial. It's looked at as a beneficial magic. And the practitioner, when the people who practice this beneficial magic are regarded as priests between ancestors and the people. They use their power for the common good, such as protecting people and their property. Now, let's turn to a specific definition of what is witchcraft in our own context, in our own situation. Before we get to a specific definition of witchcraft, I'm going to describe 3 words used by the Luba people of the Congo when they talk about witchcraft. These terms are, the first one is Mupongo, M-U, P-O, and G-O. The second term is Buloji, B-U-L-O-J-I. And the third word is Chanda, T-S-H-I-A-N-D-A, and are used for both witches and sorceries. The first word, Mupongo, is the substantive of the verb kupongola, which means to cast a spell on someone. Mupongo, this is witchcraft, and Mwena Mupongo is a witch, and Muntu Mupongola is the victim or the someone upon whom a spell is cast. The popular definition of Mupongo is a power which is used only by a witch, someone of reality, or a king, and the witch is a king within their own group. The second word, Buloji, comes from the verb kulowa, which means to keep a person under the control of someone else. So, Buloji is the witchcraft itself, when a Buloji or Muloji is a witch, and the Muntu Mulowa is the victim who usually acts foolishly. The last word, Chanda, comes from the verb kwandamuna, which means to be transformed, to be changed, or to become someone else. When a Chanda is a witch, and Muntu Mukwata Muchanda is the victim, or is the one who is transformed, who becomes a member of brotherhood of evildoers, or chanda. The word mupongo is popularly used in talking about the activities of witches, while the two other words, buloji and chanda, are rarely used. The verb kudya, in English, eat, the verb kudya, in English, eat, is used. Eat?
E-A-T or I-T?
To eat.
Eat, yes.
Yes, eat. Yeah. Is used when, in a mystical way, a mwenampongo or a witch has bewitched a human being. The following expressions are common in our own context. He or she has already been eaten. Why do they eat people but still keep them alive? And a witch never eats a stranger. They always eat someone within the same clan or the same family. Witchcraft points out to the power possessed by a witch to do evil to other human beings. It is also used as awareness of the patient's bewitchment or an attempt to find the cause of illness or misfortune. This word is also used in a traditional methodological diagnosis as seen, perceived, sensed, and experienced by searching for the answer to the cause of illness or misfortune, or taking into account interpersonal and interreaction and interpersonal contact with the environment. Therefore, in traditional Congolese society, witchcraft is also used as an explanation in determining the cause of a misfortune, as well as an attempt at suggesting the therapeutical course to follow, and finally, as a representation of inner conflicts and social cultural pathology. In brief, witchcraft is one of the biggest problems affecting the daily life of the people in different ways. Now let's go to the second chapter about who is a called child witch. What is a child called witch? How does he or how does she look like? As a matter of fact, as an introduction to this second chapter, I will briefly discuss the Congolese worldview. How do Congolese people perceive the world in which they live? As you know, Congolese worldview is different from Western worldview. Here, you have God on the top, and on the bottom, you have human beings with all knowledge, scientific knowledge, medicine, and so on. And between God and human beings, there is a void, nothing. But back home in the Congo, please. But this is, okay? But in the Congo, we believe strongly that between God and human beings, there are spiritual beings. These spiritual beings may be unseen spirits, ancestors, demons, witches, and so on. One of the Congolese scholars who wrote his book about witchcraft, his name is Mubengai, he is a Catholic scholar. He represents many people who wrote and who affirm that the African in general and the Congolese people are mostly religious people. This means that African people live by faith. They live by what they believe. Their daily life is influenced and directed by their beliefs. For example, if one has a good dream at night, if not all, but most of the activities of the following day will be successful. Ancestors who died a long time ago are still members of the living family and can participate in all family matters. It is in this context that some Congolese people think or believe that an orphan who lost his or her parents and is suffering might be a witch. Such child will be kicked out of the village or of his group, and therefore will become a street child. Another category of suspect witch include disagreeable older people. Perhaps they have been having problems with their neighbors and have struck their neighbors. Traditionally, every gray hair could indicate the presence of witchcraft power. A third category of witchcraft accusation is made up of childless couples. Witchcraft is believed to be responsible for closing the womb. And a fourth category includes people who become witches after dealing with day or good witchcraft. To illustrate, a person who makes anti-witchcraft medicine may later become involved in night witchcraft because of fear. And a fifth category includes women and men. This common feature, pointed out by different authors, is that witchcraft has been practiced more by women than by men. These women are always childless and husbandless and are feared and dispersed. A sixth category includes people. Okay, sorry, time is over.
Thank you. I'm a good witch. Let's clap for him. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.